Good morning, everyone. So, deepfake is coming to crypto. This is how I'd like to title this conversation. I have with me Pavel Kalaydin from Sumsub. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
So, am I right? Deepfake is coming to crypto.
Oh yes, unfortunately. Oh, I work in the technology, so fortunately there are lots of things lots of challenges for us. But yes, they're coming.
So, as a user, I was always impressed how crypto dealt with the onboarding process of a user, right? So before in the traditional finance, we have to go to the bank, sign the papers, provide everything, see the account manager and all this. And I was giving the same argument always to banks, it's mainly digital banks. Look at how exchanges are doing. So the onboarding process is on different milestones that say just your email account, it's enough to open an account, and then to deposit some assets, you need to give a little bit more of information. To withdraw assets, you need to give a lot of information, and so on and so forth. These steps were interesting, how VASPs or digital asset service provider, how they onboard users, but somehow with AI now and deepfake, this process again is disrupted. And your report showed a lot of incidents, let me say, in the traditional finance world with banks and financial institutions. I would like to hear a little bit more from you about how it's going in the digital asset space.
Yeah, sure. So I think this is the problem that you described. It is always the problem of safety, right? So take the air travel. I have to go to an airport and there are security checks. I understand the reason for the security check. I do not like it, so I have to, it takes time, right? And then, in the end, we hope that the amount of the security measures works, and we understand the reason why they are there. And I think the same thing with the onboarding procedures. So me as a user, I really like it to be transparent, not transparent, like as short as easy as I can. So ideally, it's just me opening an account and then using it for transferring money, right? So this is with everything. It's not just for crypto, for financial institution. And I think after COVID time, it has also disrupted. So it's not common to go to traditional bank to open an account in person. This is rare. So people like it, they're used to it, but now we have a problem.
It came with a cost.
Yes, it has. The problem is there are bad guys, and they want to target specifically you and your account. And now, if I can do it remotely, right, I can be fraudsters that will be trying to actually impersonate me to do something with my account. And now we have a problem. And it's not a new problem. I think we're trying to impersonate other people for many years, centuries.
Faking the signature and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So now it's the problem is here, right? You have to do something, and now this is the setup. So this is what is happening. But now you have technology that you can use for good or for bad. And obviously this is the way how we work. So how humans live. So people will be using it for bad things. And I really want, so for instance, like if so I'm a fraudster, I somehow got access to your documents and your image, which is not a problem, right? So I can Google you, and then I can create a deepfake with your face from.
I would like to tell people that before we start this conversation, I saw myself. I was like interviewing myself when you show me yourself as me with my face. So interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's easy, and the problem is you cannot ban it because people will be using deepfakes for good. right? They are used for movies. For your favorite movie actor at some point will not be his or her image will be used just for advertisement without them actually being present. This is fine. This is a perfect valid usage. But the very same technology will also be used for bad. So now the setup is like this. So I have an account. Somebody wants to actually access it, right? So they may, obviously they have to use your email, your password, but beyond a phishing email, somehow they get it, right? And there was I think it was an attack on one of the big crypto exchanges maybe months ago. So an account was hacked, and then 2 million euro was transferred. So what is this scenario for that? Usually the platforms, they implement transaction monitoring. So they actually try to make sure, oh, this look fishy. All of a sudden, I want to transfer lots of money. So you do a liveness check. And liveness check means that they want to verify that you are you, right? This is, for instance, like this is where we operated. And then liveness check is basically where I can use a deepfake because I have to pretend to be you. And it is a challenge because now you can create it, you can make it convincing, you can make it realistic. So it's not that easy to detect. And then we have an arms race. On the other hand, it's platforms that try to detect attacks such as deepfake using deepfakes, and fraudsters that try to create deepfakes so that you cannot actually detect them. And it will remain, of course. So this is the.
So, Pavel, when talking about deepfaking or a face or a person, so what type of technology or what type of resources do I need to be able to succeed in faking this with someone like an exchange?
Yeah, I have to say that there are two types of ways to create a deepfake, right? The first one, and it's not that common, but it's used for movies, for instance. When you train a deepfake, so you collect lots of data from your target, a celebrity, or this is actually, for instance, like it's used for non-consensual porn. This is the way people abuse it. But if I want to target a celebrity, I create lots of data. And then there are ways for me to train a model that will create a deepfake. It will take time. You need resources, you need GPUs, but because you need to train something. The biggest problem for us is the second approach. And the second approach is called zero-shot face swapping, when you don't need to train anything. The only thing that you have to do is a source video. So usually this is a fraudster performing some actions, and then just one single image of a victim, right? It's like I showed you before the recording. So it's and then you do not train anything. You just apply a face swap, and there are many tools available. So for instance, like you can go right now, you can go, and there are dozens of tools. They're usually called face swapping software on Google Store or Apple Store, and then you get there, and then you just use it, and then you have a video of a deepfake.
But you have to fake the image, and you have to fake the voice, and you have to manage the lip sync, all these kind of things.
Yeah. I think So I think it's a bunch of technologies. Lip sync is a little bit different. So usually at some point we will have like end-to-end tools that is available. Right now, I would say so for a deepfake, it's usually yes, it's a face swap, and then there is also a step called enhancement. Very often it is combined in a tool, so you can use it. But at some point, I mean, specifically fraudsters will be using it like, one step at a time, because you can use a deepfake. It's not good enough, but you can enhance it so it looks even more realistically, and it is also being improved. And there is lip syncing, so you can use it. So it's your video, and then you can tweak it a little bit so it looks like you're speaking. And then there is also like audio deepfakes. Usually, I think in the industry, deepfakes, it's mostly about faces. But yeah, you're right. You can actually craft a very
So some verification happen over the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is even a bigger problem, because you can craft a very convincing voice deepfake in no time, like 3 seconds of your voice.
Yeah.
And also the problem is that we all know that you can simulate. So like children crying in the background, the back connection. It is way harder for you to actually make sure that this is you. So this is your authentic voice. So voice deepfakes are very big threat. but I hope it's not that much in use right now. So it's if you have access to your money just via your voice, this is a problem. Definitely, this is a problem.
Yeah. So taking all this into account, like I was yesterday interviewing the president of an exchange, and compliance in general is becoming a hurdle for VASPs. So the cost is becoming tremendously high because they try to adapt with the changing regulation every day. Adding on the cost of using tools like Sumsub to safeguard the people's money at the end of the day. But this is making the business in total expensive. The cost is becoming very high. And at the end of the day, this will be converted to client, right? So at the end of the day, the cost of transacting will be somehow similar to traditional finance, right?
Yeah, this is, I think this is the biggest problem of security measures, because I'm like a senior executive, I have to make a decision to invest money into security measures. I do not earn money from it. It's all about not losing money, and it is very hard. I think this is the biggest challenge, but I think it can be applied to any security measures. So it's not that clear for us. You have definitely, and also the problem is that, and we see that ourselves, it's also about conversion. So I have to ask for more information from our users. They do not like it. They say, I'll go to your competitors because they do not ask me for my selfies, documents, proof of addresses, whatever. I'll go there. It's not that safe, because for me, I do not really care about it as a user, but I will go there because this is easier for me. So there is also a trade-off, and this is a reason why I think the platforms, they have to educate the users that is for your good. It's not just so we are trying to make your life way more harder or something like that.
Yeah.
So this will be a challenge, but it has to be done, unfortunately. This is no way. There are ways to make it easier. So for instance, I know that, there are ways like no document verification, for instance. Yeah, right. So you can use some sort of a token, like hardware token. So there are ways to make sure that you are.
I like the hardware token idea, by the way.
Yeah,
and it's
but
not that
also like
it's
for
not
many
that
people,
common in our space. I don't know why.
yeah. It's also like, okay, this is a hardware. I know that, for instance, like I use the NFC chip in my ID, so I can use it to log into some government services, like in Germany, for instance. Like it's pretty practical,
Yeah.
but it's not common for some reason. I think it's also a cost because you have to implement it. You have to issue chips. You have to make sure people use it. This is a cost, upfront cost, which is also somebody has to pay.
But I believe this is the right route if we decide to make people's lives easier. I believe VASPs should start doing this in a way or another, or at least during the onboarding process, whenever you're really a client, a frequent client, permanent client, maybe you should onboard them to a safer option.
Yeah. But the problem is that it will still not solve the problem.
Not all the problems, half of the problems.
Yeah. Because for instance, like I know that you mentioned regulations, and it is also a part of the problem. That's not a part of the problem, but you have to be compliant to many regulations. And to do that, you also have to ask for documents. So I know that in many regions, you have to prove that you live, your residence or certain country. It's not just about your identification. You have to provide, electricity bills, so like some sort of proof of addresses. And it's very easy to forge a proof of address. There are no holograms. It's just printed out document with my name. And it is a challenge for everyone. And you have to your regulator will be asking you to do that. This is how it works. And this is also, we mentioned, so the regional, the world is very different. So people use different documents, and well, I've seen
Like in
documents
Lebanon, I face this in Lebanon, by the way. Our electricity bill is in Arabic, so none of the KYC solution can read Arabic and verify this.
Yeah. Arabic is so like the OCR is multilingual, so it can be solved. but the formats.
Yeah.
I mean, we have like
it is like a ticket.
You have 150 passports, for instance, like they are like limited numbers, right? But proof of addresses, you will have, you know, thousands and thousands of different documents, and it's a challenge for us, for everyone, to solve.
So moving forward, talking a little bit of numbers. So we're based in Dubai, where it's becoming the home of crypto. So a lot of exchanges are based in Dubai now, starting by the big ones, Binance, Crypto.com, and so on. So did you notice any spike in the deepfake operations in UAE in specific and MENA region as a wider audience?
Yeah, I would say that this is. So yeah, we reported the numbers just so everyone knows. So we reported this 10 times growth of deepfakes year to year. So it is, and the reason is it is very easy to create. This is and one of the and also it's people can benefit from it. So not just I create a deepfake, I can actually use it to try to steal money from somebody else. So this is like two things to mention. But speaking why, I think in the UAE, so I can, yeah. So it is no difference. So it's I think our numbers shows that last year, I think 1/3 of deepfake fraud. Yes, it's 36% was deepfake fraud in MENA region, which is a lot. And I think this is actually connected to that the region is, as you mentioned, crypto is there. People, I mean, UAE is the center of financial institutions. Fraud will be happening there. So fraud follows where money is. I think this is why
people are fluent with technology. So everybody there is know how to use technology properly, and there's a lot of people, smart people.
Also remote. Everything is remote, and this all depends also on the region. So there are countries. I think the UAE is a very remote, friendly. Internet friendly, and then of course
this is post-COVID. I agree with you. Post-COVID, this is what happened.
Yeah. So it's unlike Germany, for instance, like I mentioned it before. So here it's like I have to talk to a person remotely, but this is a living person. So for me to create a deepfake, it's not just me doing a very easy sequences of actions. I have to talk. I have to say yes, I want to open an account, and they will ask me questions. Is it really me, or is it like so? It takes time. People do not like the conversion is bad, but I mean that's why the deepfakes are not that popular yet. But at some point, video notifications will, I hope, be discontinued, and then we'll have the typical remote verifications with challenges, of course. This is the.
So you said earlier that it is like cat and mouse game. So you're building the shield, someone is cracking it, and then again you're trying to make it stronger. So who's winning nowadays?
Well, honestly, I think the part that the defense part is a little bit ahead.
Good.
There are challenges because, for instance, like regulations, there are AI regulations, for instance. They do not apply to fraudsters. They apply to legitimate users like us, platforms, right? So it's a little bit harder for us to be compliant. Yet, I think my experience is that the fraudsters who try to abuse the technology, they still, they benefit from the technology, but they do not develop it themselves. This is important. So they are a little bit like one step behind.
They are collecting.
Sorry?
They are collecting from here and there.
They are collecting. Yeah, they're collecting, but it means that we can actually know what they will be using tomorrow. This is important. At some point, and I know that it happens. Well, we know that there are like hackers groups everywhere operating. At some point, I think we will have labs specifically focusing on fraud at some point. But I think as for now, it's more or less like just benefiting from the technology that was developed for not just for the things. And then this helps us a little bit to be a little bit ahead in the game. So I hope for now, I'm trying to be very positive because obviously as soon as As soon as you get positive, everything gets way worse. But yeah, so it's, I think
So
we have time.
my question here, Pavel, come. So bad actors usually collaborate, right? Are good actors collaborating on this space? You feel like as an entity, as a well-known entity, doing this job for long, from traditional finance to digital assets now. So are you in collaboration with other institutions? You are competing on the monetization model,
Yeah.
but somehow there is a collaboration. You feel it's enough?
Yeah, I must say this is the challenge, but this is all in the security space. It is also always a challenge. People do not like to share. The customers do not like to share because you will not share if you have a problem, if you have a breach, if you have an attack, you will not share it. This is, I mean, this is how it works. We try. So we actually, last year, we even open sourced a couple of models that can help detect synthetic fraud. It was like, I mean, I think it was not common at all, but was like, okay, let's share, let's give back, and then maybe we'll get feedback, and then we'll get some sort of connection with academic institutions. It helped us a little bit. We also try, I think the platforms that specifically focus on KYC and transaction monitoring, they try to educate people as much as they can. So this is some sort of, so the cooperation in that space happens. It's not, I hope it will be more things like this. This is important, but it's not, it's happening, but it's not enough, I think. So it is a challenge because people, yeah, I mean, the point is like, this is our, it's, you do not share what you do because people will be trying, not competitors, the bad actors, they will be trying to use your what, so you know what you know, they know what you know, and then it's a problem. So this, it is very, so it's, there must be more cooperation, yet it is hard to do. So this is a challenge.
You need to verify with whom you are cooperating anyway.
Yeah, oh yeah, for instance, yeah, yeah, I can.
Yeah. So in terms of regulation, and this is my last question would be, so is regulators, let's say in Dubai, VARA, are they forcing VASPs to use any types of tools that safeguard people's money from deepfake, or this is something not yet forced or obligatory, becoming obligatory?
Honestly, I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure that this is obligatory. Yeah, at some point it will, but it is, yeah, yeah, and it's hard for me to comment. Yeah, this is, yeah, this is the
Because for me it's becoming obvious. So the trend is going up. So regulator will force VASPs to do insurance. So insurance companies will force VASPs to use different tools like yours.
yeah.
So it's a cycle, and I'm not sure where we are in the cycle now.
Yeah, I would expect, you know, yeah, I honestly have not heard about it. So it's like, we obviously for us, it's like we have to tell everyone that you have to use it because, you know, see the numbers. It's not just us doing fear mongering. It is the numbers. Numbers speaks for themselves. But I think at some point we will have some sort of an audit. So the regulator should not care what you do it specifically. They have to say, okay, this is the traffic, it contains fraud. What can you detect? If you can detect this, it is fine. Like, I don't know, so 0.1% of fraud you have to detect. If it's higher, then you are in trouble. I think it will be something like that. So we will have some sort of certifications, fraud protection certifications in place, and it will be common. But it's, you know, this is a challenge as well, because, for instance, it is very hard. Certification is benchmarks, evaluation. It is a challenge. How do you measure? How do you compare? Especially if there are competitors, platforms, regulators, it is a challenge. So it's not that easy. But I hope it will. I think it will happen at some point. You have just defense, but it's not about you have to use it. It's about you have. I mean, you have to prove that you will not accept fraud. So this is about numbers, not about the tools.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was Pavel from Sumsub. Thank you, Pavel, for your time.
Yeah, thank you.